What is up, Planeswalkers? There's 6 back with some more Magic the Gathering Arena. Be sure to go to flipsidegaming.com and use promo code 6 for 10% off on orders over $10. It's a good deal and helps support the channel. Now today, since many of you, the majority of you, voted YARP, we are going to go into the competitive metagame challenge. And for this challenge, I asked really recently what exact deck you guys wanted to see. It was relatively close, but Sultai Midrange did beat it out. Now, I am using, let me double check, I'm using the first place Star City Games Open, piloted by Anthony Devarti. I'm using essentially the exact same build, minus exactly one card in the sideboard, which I will get to in a moment. So we're running 4 Llanowar Elves because in a mid-range deck, you want to try and make sure that you aren't running too many lands, but at the same time are being able to accelerate to your larger, more powerful cards. We are, of course, running the Explore package using 4 Wildgrowth Walkers, 4 Jadelight Rangers, 4 Merfolk Branchwalkers, and an additional Seekers Squire. Seekers Squire does often get cut into the sideboard games, but she's very helpful just in the early game, making sure you can get those nice Wildgrowth Walker triggers. It's a fantastic way to scale against control, and it's a fantastic way to gain life against aggro. Additionally, both all of your Explorer cards do kind of help you manage your draws. Make sure it's less often that you flood out or otherwise get mana screwed, so it's very nice. Then, of course, we have a small draw package in our 2 Midnight Reapers. If your creatures die, you get some cards. It is dangerous against aggro, so typically against aggro I do end up boarding them out, because even though it's, you know, a reasonable body, you just don't want to get dealt any extra damage in those matchups. Hydroid Krasis is also a draw card style engine, but you typically want to play this as like a kind of end thing. Once you have a large sum of mana and you just want that big burst of cards, what's really nice about Hydroid Krasis is that the trigger is on cast, not on resolve. So if your opponent does end up countering the Krasis, you still gain the life and you still draw the cards, which is fantastic. It's a little unfortunate that it's X life and X cards rounded down, half of that I should say. So when you're in an odd amount of mana, you should still pay for the full costs, because you do end up getting the extra counters, but you don't benefit from that extra mana when it's on an odd number, which is a little unfortunate. But for what it's worth, you're getting decent amount of life, decent amount of cards, flying trampled large dude for a variable cost. It's very helpful. We are running, of course, a nice removal package in 2 cast downs, 2 Chupacabras, and 2 Vraska's Contempt in the main board. Cast down hits a lot of things. Of course, it doesn't hit a few legends running around, but right now, a lot of the big decks that I'm seeing aren't running too many legends, so Cast Down is just a really nice, efficient card. If you're worried about running up against a large number of mono red, you're going to want to switch out Cast Down for Moment of Craving. 2 Ravenous Chupacabras are really nice. Luckily, Tocatli Honor Guard isn't running around too much right now, so the large amount of ETBs aren't going to be affected by that, but the ability to play out a threat, I mean, it's just a 2/2, but play out a threat while you kill one of your opponent's creatures, especially something like a Niv Mizzet that would otherwise get value out of you casting a instant or sorcery, is very helpful. And then, of course, Vraska's Contempt, because we need to get rid of creatures or planeswalkers. This is just a really flexible removal spell, and we do gain 2 life from it, which is very nice. And then, of course, we have like a top-end thing. We're running 3 Finalities, fantastic on the fine side to get back a lot of big bursts. What I usually end up using this for is getting back, you know, a Jadelight Ranger and maybe another Wildgrowth Walker against aggro, or just like double up on Wildgrowth Walker or Jadelight Rangers against control, maybe Carnage Tyrant against control, or Hydroid Krasis, depending on how much mana we have available. It's a really nice, efficient way to really grind out games. And then Finality is a very decent way to have a board wipe in the deck without needing to actually devote slots to a board wipe, since Find is what you're typically going to be using. But Finality can absolutely come in handy in a pinch against certain decks. We're running 3 Vivien Reids. I've found that her -3 destroys so many important things. Her -3 just destroys the Drake's decks. The Enchantment Clause allows you to deal with the Gruul enchantment, allows you to deal with the Wilderness Reclamation. It even, for what it's worth, does allow you to get rid of the Curious Obsessions out of Mono Blue. Although, I will say, Mono Blue is kind of a problem for this deck, but hopefully we don't see too many of it in the challenge. We are, of course, running 2 Carnage Tyrants because Carnities do not give an F. Your opponent cannot counter it. Your opponent cannot target it. Deal with my 7/6, and then after you do, I'm going to buy it back with Find. This is our current mana base. There is a lot of, shocking that we end up doing in this mana base, but it's fine for the most part. You do just need to, plan out your plays ahead of time. And then, of course, 2 Memorial to Follies is helpful for getting back any of the nice stuff that we have in our deck. Moving on to the sideboard, we're on 4 Duress. This is the wrong Duress, Justin. Stop being a fool. We run 4 Duress to hurt any deck that likes to play a bunch of instant sorceries, so the Drake's decks, especially the control decks. I tried to bring it in against Mono Blue, and it helped a little, but they just draw so many cards so quickly that that matchup just seems hard. 1 Disdainful Stroke. We don't like when Wilderness Reclamation resolves, so we go ahead and bring stuff in against that. This is very much just a anti-control tool. Negate is very similar to Duress in that it can come in against more than just control, but its main use is control. 3 Cry of the Carnarium. If you're running up against like mono white or mono red aggro, you're gonna want a nice 3-mana sweeper. For what it's worth, it might exile your own creatures, but that's the price you should be willing to pay to get rid of your opponent's board. Crushing Canopy. For what it's worth, it does kill Drakes, but I found that I usually use it to destroy enchantments, especially the Gruul enchantment and Wilderness Reclamation, so that is mainly what this is for. It's possible that you could justify running a different style of enchantment removal, but the fact that it does have that extra oomph of being able to destroy a creature means it's worth it. Additional Vraska's Contempt, just in case you need it, more removal, more targeted removal. 2 Eldest Reborns, because, ooh, this is a nice grind card. I bring this in a lot. And then, this is the one change. Because I play Muldrotha so much, I just love this card. So, the initial deck ran a single Tendershoot Dryad in the side, and my assumption was that that slot was dedicated to really grindy matchups where you just want to get a stupid large board out of 1 card. Muldrotha, it has a similar function in that it's a single card win condition because you can keep buying stuff back from your graveyard. You do not have a super large differentiation of permanent types. We're not running any enchantments or artifacts in this deck, but being able to like play, an extra Jadelight Ranger a turn, getting back a Chupacabra, getting back, one of your high-end like Vivien Reid or Carnage Tyrant is really helpful in those really grindy matchups. And if your opponent does use removal on this that doesn't exile, you can just find it back, which is very nice. Now, we're going to hop in to the competitive metagame challenge. I did practice in traditional best of 3 with the deck for quite a bit, but this is a 1 loss and you're out game. In order to get your money back, I believe it was 2,000 for entry, so you need to get 3 wins before you get a single loss. If you do go all the way, then you get 30 packs, which is really valuable. But people are going to be playing the strongest deck that they have. And I've heard that essentially, like only Wilderness Reclamation decks are being played, like Nexus decks. So hopefully that information was not entirely true, but if it is, so be it. Alright, we do get to play first on our first game, which is helpful. This is not the best hand because we don't have green. Like, we have Midnight Reaper on 3, but having such a slow start against what could be control makes me not like this. And if it's aggro, it's also quite bad because, then the first thing that we can do is play a Midnight Reaper. So I'm pretty sure this is a mulligan. This is a much better hand. Of course, we only have 2 lands and 2 cards that we can't play, but both of these, as I said when I talked about the Explore package, help us with our draws. So we do need to scry that to the bottom. And we're going to just play the Forest. I don't necessarily want to show them that I'm a Golgari, like a green-black X deck. Okay, looks like it's the Mirror. I could play Llanowar Elves here, but I would prefer to get down a potentially larger threat and to set up my future turns. So let's see if they go ahead and play a Merfolk Branchwalker here, as it is what I expect them to do. Didn't change the basics. Yep, Wildgrowth Walker. Darn. Definitely gonna go ahead and attack. And once again, I think the correct answer is Merfolk Branchwalker. The majority of lands in the deck do produce green mana, like I said. So being able to do that into this is very helpful. So hopefully my opponent doesn't have a Jadelight Ranger. A single Branchwalker is not too bad, but a Jadelight Ranger would be potentially difficult. Uh-oh. Okay, Midnight Reaper, totally fine. I'm totally fine with that. And I think the correct answer is to just play out of Vivien Reid and get a lot of advantage. I mean, I could Jadelight Ranger now and try and set up a Carnage Tyrant next turn, but I think I just take 2, play out my Vivien. I'm protected against their board here, and just start getting value. So I can get a Overgrown Tomb in order to play Carnage Tyrant next turn, or I can get a Chupacabra in order to, like, kill Midnight Reaper, for example. I prefer the removal, and the reason for that is, I think if I have an uncontested Vivien Reid, she alone should be able to help me win this game. Of course, my opponent could have something like a Vraska Contempt, but kind of banking on them not. They might not even not. Okay, so they didn't even have another untapped land, which is helpful. Llanowar Elves, not a Jadelight Ranger. I don't see them attacking here. Like, they would maybe, yeah. They would maybe be able to get something from Midnight Reaper, but I just don't think it's wise for them to attack here. And we can go ahead and kill the Midnight Reaper and not lose too much value. And unfortunately, all we can get here is a Woodland Cemetery. Yeah. I think the correct answer is to kill the Midnight Reaper, because it does give them only 1 card. It does kind of allow me to attack in with my Merfolk Branchwalker. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and have this come in tapped. And I do think I want to apply some form of pressure here. It's a little risky because they could have removal for my creatures. At end of turn they could cast down, but they didn't, which is nice. And then Vivien would have been a little bit contested. But if I'm able to get Vivien to an ultimate, this game should be mine. But they can gain a bunch of life here. Finality, darn. Okay, so he can deal no damage to Vivien. So that's helpful. I'm gonna go ahead and plus up my Vivien.
You can't stop nature.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's safer to play. I mean, he might have another Finality, but it might honestly be safer to play Merfolk. I mean, I think the pick is Branchwalker because we have plenty of lands, but I think the safer play is double Explore creature instead of Carnage Tyrant. I mean, Carnage Tyrant can't be removed as easily, but they could have, you know, the Eldest Reborn. So, you know, I play around some things. I'm not able to play around others. So, oh, I guess I should have Memorial Folly. I didn't realize I was able to keep that. So we'll go and keep that on top. Will we keep that on top since we just used both of our Explore creatures? I'm gonna library into graveyard. Yeah. Okay, so let's see if our opponent has some form of removal. I would essentially sacrifice my entire board to be able to keep Vivien alive in order for her to ult. Because as soon as I get her to ult, my time winning is a lot easier because they have to only have exile removal. I mean, since my creatures become indestructible, okay, that's fine with me. My creatures are going to be quite a bit larger.
No one knows the wilds like I do.
So I assume that my opponent is going to attack in to Vivien. I don't think they should. So maybe they won't. Maybe they'll recognize that. Because I would just chump with my Branchwalker plus Vivien. Their Vivien would die. Or, sorry, ultimate Vivien. Yeah, cool, cool. Ooh, and we got a nice Krasis. Unfortunately, last turn I misplayed the land, but I would have been on an odd number anyway. So yeah, we're just gonna cash in the Vivien. I think it's, you know, foolish to try and not, but they do have trample. But I want to make sure she dies. Yeah. Okay. And we're gonna Krasis for 4. Cool, cool. This can come in untapped, so we're gonna go ahead and just do this. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna have a Carnage Tyrant that is yeah. That's exactly why I went with that line, because alting a Vivien is very helpful. So I usually prefer to sideboard like this. In this matchup, I feel like Disdainful Strokes are decent, but I'm not entirely sure. Vraska is definitely great. This is definitely a matchup where those cards are great. I'm not sure how much I want Duress, Negates, and Disdainful Strokes. Both of them are good, but I think going second, they're a little bit less good. Duress, less so, but the counters are much less powerful when you're going second. So I think just having the extra longevity stuff is good. The problem is taking stuff out. I usually side out the Seekers Squire in grindy matchups. Seekers Squire, in my opinion, is most helpful in aggro matchups because it gives you that density of low curve creatures. I think then I'll just start trimming a few things. So I'll trim a single Finality. It's a great card in this matchup, but I want to make sure I have these as well because they're also great cards. There's an argument for cutting Midnight Reaper, but you definitely want to have the majority of the value in this matchup. I think I'm just going to trim on those. I guess you could argue Carnage Tyrant isn't needed in this matchup. Let me think. Do I want Reid and Krasis or Carnage Tyrant? I think I would actually prefer Reid and Krasis. I think they're just more valuable in general. Not sure about that. Not sure about that specific distinction, but and luckily we won the first game, so we're going to be able to have a nice little buffer here. Alright, they mulligan, that's nice. I think this hand's fine. You know, we have Wildgrowth Walker, we have 2 removal spells, we have Vivien, 3 lands. They do all come in untapped. Or, well, the first one won't, but yeah, I think this is fine. So let's see what you have on turn 1. Okay, nothing. Awesome. And I think I do want to actually pay life for this. I would be paying life next turn anyway, if I wanted to play the Wildgrowth Walker, but this does allow me to have that extra flexibility of playing like a 3-drop first or something. Okay, so that's fine. And we are just going to play out a Wildgrowth Walker, play this Overgrown Tomb tapped. I will say I should have definitely played that first Overgrown Tomb instead of the Breeding Pool, because I would want the double black. So I would have been able to like have both. I mean, for what it's worth, it doesn't matter now, but I assume they're keeping that on top. Yep, alright, and they're playing the wrong Llanowar Elves. Alright, Midnight Reaper it is. And then next turn I probably will shock myself in order to get Vivien. So we're going to play this one. No attacks. But here we do have, you know, a blocking situation. My opponent can at next turn Finality. For what it is worth. But they would kill their entire board as well. So. Alright. They don't want to let me draw a card, which is reasonable. Yeah, so even if they put it on Branchwalker, they wouldn't have anything. So they have 1 card that we don't know of. Find Finality and 2 things. So I think the correct answer is Vivien Reid? I can play Vivien. I'd only have 2 blockers. I can block there and block there. And then Vivien might take 3 damage. And then they find these back. I'm not certain. But, I mean, my other line is Chupacabra on something. Yeah, that just doesn't seem as good. Like, if I'm able to have, like, my same board and next turn I get a land, or from here all I really have are lands.
Are my shield.
Do I want the Jadelight Ranger? Yes, because I have an active Wildgrowth Walker. So I do want to keep the Wildgrowth Walker alive. But yeah, next turn my Wildgrowth Walker is going to get a little bit bigger. My opponent cannot Finality and save anything of theirs. Okay, they do have a Vivien Reid, so I would like to get one of my...
The wild one eat, My new
exile spells. Or my Vraska's Contempts. But for what it's worth, mine did come down first. So. Oh, they must not have gotten all of them. Oh, dang. Wait. You get those for winning one game. Maybe they just like both. I mean, Chris Ron did fantastic art on this, so. Oh, that is spicy.
Come to me.
Do I want another Jadelight? Yeah, sure. Alright, I might be getting a little greedy, but... For what it's worth, like, I thought about taking the lands. We're going to keep that on top just so our Jadelight Ranger gets more counters. So, library into graveyard. So, I could attack their Vivien. They could triple block. Yeah, they would have to triple block in order to kill my Wildgrowth Walker. I think I would at this point I think I would rather them use Find. So I think that I'm fine with doing that. Obviously I'm getting a lot of life here, but let's see, blockers. I mean I have decent blockers. And there's no way they're gonna want their Vivien to go down that far, so they're likely to lose a creature here. But let's see if they go all in. Yeah, looks like they're going all in. And I'm fine with them casting Find into these cards, because that gives me more time with Vivien Reid in order to get to her ultimate. It does also draw me a card, which I did forget. Let's see what you get.
Break someone like you.
I mean, they could Finality instead, but I'm not sure I love the Carnage Tyrant. Well, I guess it does have trample, so it is a bit of a threat, but I can double block the crap out of it, so. Yeah, they're casting Finality. I mean, they're trying to protect their Vivien as well. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm surprised by that. I'm gonna draw 4 cards, go back to 20. The likelihood that I draw a Vraska's Contempt is relatively high since there are 3 in the deck. Ow. 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 Also, rude. I did draw lands, which is helpful. Into Elf. Yep. Makes sense. So I'm definitely going to plus my Vivien.
Meet my newest friend.
I'll get another Jadelight. 2, 3, 4. Well, I think, like, I don't really care about their Llanowar Elf that much. There's no way they're going to be able to deal with my stuff. So I think the correct answer is double Branchwalker into a tap land. The Jadelight Ranger is a little bit better. We'll see. Well, we'll see what's on top of their Branchwalker, because we're definitely playing at least one Branchwalker. All right, frustrating. Yeah, I think I prefer this line. Yeah. Sure, absolutely. That seems totally fine with me. So we have to discard 2 cards. This one, and frankly, this one. We'll have 6 lands next turn. That is plenty. But our opponent needs to deal with our board.
No one knows the wilds like I do.
Because if they play Carnage Tyrant, we're going to be able to kill their Llanowar Elf and get at least 4 damage onto their Vivien Reid. Because we're absolutely ultimating Vivien next turn. Darn! Correct play is absolutely Chupacabra, I think. That will require me to use my cast down and my Chupacabra. They can't do both, right? No, they can't. Okay. Midnight Reaper into Chupacabra. Damn, damn, damn. Yep, they killed that one. Makes sense. So I'm going to Chupacabra their Midnight Reaper. Fudge. Okay, so they're definitely going to be able to ultimate their Vivien. So this game is going to be interesting. But I believe the fact that I have Hydroid Krasis in the deck means that I'm going to win. I believe the Hydroid Krasis is what's going to give me the edge.
It's time.
And I do think... Oh, no, I want to kill... I think I would rather cast down then. Yeah, I'll cast down this. And then... Wildgrowth Walker into Branchwalker. But I'm fairly certain that my Hydroid Krasis is what's going to win me the game. Because all of our creatures are going to be indestructible. Yeah.
You're not walking
Sure,
out of
sure.
here.
All of our creatures are now indestructible. I mean, you can play your Carnage Tyrant. It's going to be, what, a 9/8? But my creatures are going to be indestructible. I'll just block it, you know? Also, our creatures all have Vigilance. So, I mean, this is going to be a weird slugfest. Do you have 2 mana exile removal? I didn't think so. This might be a long video. Ooh, another Vivien Reid. Don't mind if I do. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would not be able to play anything else, though. I think Hydroid Krasis is the best thing to do, but I like the idea of being able to Jadelight into Jadelight, because that's 4 triggers on Wildgrowth Walker. It's a nice life buffer, and it allows my Wildgrowth Walker and my Merfolk Branchwalker to maybe get through for some damage. I don't actually know too much. Cast down on my Wildgrowth Walker. You do realize that doesn't work. Absolutely keeping that on top every time, because this is another way for us to get rid of our opponent's creatures. Library. Okay. So unfortunately, I don't actually get any damage through. But they do have Vigilance, right? Vigilance, yeah. I'm just going to attack. See what he does. Darn. He found out. Yep, that's fine. Alright, so opponent has 3 cards in hand to my 3 cards, but, alright, 2 cards. I assume mine are better. Yep, I mean, I have a pretty easy time blocking here. For what it's worth, I'm also at 35. I expect this to be a decent game. Do I Eldritch Reborn now? It just gets rid of Chupacabra. But it does percent a large amount of damage on my opponent. Yeah, let's do it. For what it's worth, Finality does still get rid of creatures, but yeah. Fantastic. That was one game. Took 20 minutes. Good old best of 3s. Alright, but we at least got 1 win. 1 win is 1,000 gold. So it's half, you know, half of your money back, so that's good. But let's see how we do on this one. Reddit is like down right now, which is super unusual. You know, it's not unusual. It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. It's not unusual to have fun with anyone. No. But when I see you hanging about with anyone, I guess I have no green. I do have a cast down, and I'd rather not go lower. It's not unusual to see me cry. I want to die. Yeah, this is fine, I guess. So we probably Memorial to Folly first. Ooh, looks like it is probably going to be Drakes. Gonna put me in sicko mode. Grixis, then? Okay. We're gonna just play this tapped, I suppose. There's definitely an argument for just playing the forest now and holding up cast down. But I'm more inclined to think this is Grixis control. still, I like the flexibility of doing this. Because I don't really lose too much, since I don't have, like, a 3-mana play anyway. Drake, alright. I mean, it's not the best thing to cast down, but I'll cast it down. Okay, so it is Grixis Drakes. Grixis Drakes is kind of falling out of favor, though. I'm gonna go ahead and just play this Breeding Pool out. I went for the Breeding Pool there because I have other sources of black. Terra Mana, interesting. Drawing a lot of lands. I assume my opponent has a counterspell here. But I want to, like, do something, and even if I just get counterspelled, I still gain a life and draw a card. So I don't actually lose anything. Yeah, so because it's on cast, even if they have counterspell. Okay, opt. Guess they don't. So I'll have a 2/2 flyer that can technically deal with this. And I got a card, which is helpful. Next turn, likely just going to Vivien Reid. Enigma Drake, sure. Yeah, I mean, they are tapped down, so I think the correct answer is just Vivien Reid. I can Vivien Reid minus to kill the Enigma Drake. It does leave Vivien open to, like, a shock. But then it's a 2-for-1, right? So I'm fine with this, especially since I do have Reaper and Ranger. No reason to attack. I want to protect my Vivien. Yeah, this still costs a ton. By the way, I appreciate everyone who voted in the brief span of time where I was able to... did have a shock. It looks like they're stuck on lands, so that's helpful. Because I can go ahead and Jadelight Ranger. Yeah, I'll cast Jadelight Ranger first. They could have like a Quench or something. I have no idea if they're running that style of thing, but... I'm going to graveyard this. And I will library this, yeah. I'll go and play Midnight Reaper. Seasons don't fear the Reaper, nor do the winds or the sun or the rain. I could start attacking in at this point. Because I don't really care about one on the crackback, so I do think I want to start, you know, nibbling at my opponent's life total. Lava Coil. Incredibly rude. But it looks like they're still on a small amount of mana, so. Let's see, so they have 1, 2, 3. So this costs 8. Math is hard. 5. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and attack in. If they do end up killing our Hydroid Krasis without exiling it, we are going to be able to, you know, buy it back with Memorial to Folly end of turn. And then we can cast it for even more and gain even more cards. Perfect. Alright, and pass the turn. And that's really the great thing about these Hydroid Krasises. Crazy. Crackling Drake? Sure. Absolutely. Go ahead and tap out. Let me cast my Hydroid for a bunch. How much can I cast it for? Math is hard. 6. Go and play this. Pay 2 life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6. Cool. Oh, yum, yum, yum. We unfortunately drew kind of poorly off our Krasis, but for what it's worth, these are 3 cards that we're not going to be drawing for 3 turns, right? So, pretty reasonable. I was kind of lucky that my opponent was, you know, stuck on mana and didn't have, you know, very explosive start. Incredibly rude, sir. I mean, I can block all day. You kill my Hydroid Krasis, I will bring it back with Memorial to Folly. Although, actually, I wouldn't block because I have lethal set up. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this costs 4. So they can evolve it next turn. Or adapt it, sorry. Bad draws. Very, very bad draws. I do think the correct answer is to attack in with my Hydroid Krasis because it has trample. Do I attack in with everyone? I have a decent life buffer. My opponent is stuck on 4. They could block... They could block, but then they would be taking 7 instead of just 6. Honestly, I think that's fine. Yeah, I'm at such a high life total. I think it's totally correct to be aggressive here. Yeah, I'm totally fine with them blocking my Krasis and eating it, because I can just get it back end of turn. Dive down? Sure. Do I even choose to get it back now? If I get it back now, I'll be at 1, 2... I can only do it for 2. So I don't think I should. I think I should honestly just play this tapped, play out the Llanowar Elf, get it back end of turn, and just have it be large once again. Because, as I said, even if it gets countered, I'm getting a bunch of value out of it. Enigma Drake? Sure. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get this back. I almost clicked Llanowar. Oof, the sneeze. I'm just going to do it for now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh! Baby a triple. I do think that I attack with everything. My opponent could block like that, but they'd go to 1? Oh, wait. How much does this cost? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this costs 3. Okay, it costs 3. Yes. You know, I'm going to Hydroid Krasis first. Like I said, I can do it for 8, I think. Cool. Drawing 4 cards? Hell yeah, look at these. Those are what I'm talking... You know what? I think it's probably better to play it... Because I force blocks. I think it's correct. I think it's correct to do this. I could be super wrong. That's fine. You need to block again. Oh, the dive down. I didn't factor dive down in. Yep, that was my mistake. I didn't factor in that they could have another dive down. 100%. My bad. That said, I have Hydroid Krasis. I'm at 26. I don't care if you attack me for a bunch. Because I can just Vivien Reid. I can find Finality. Which I think I want to find Finality, though. I'm just going to play this. They might have a counterspell to that. But we're going to tap this. I'm going to go ahead and Finality. Do you have a counterspell? Looks like they do. Nope, they just concede. Sounds good. Alright, against Grixis Drakes. Against Grixis Drakes. I like Elderborn. I like the idea of Contempt. I'm not sure if it's great. Crushing Enemy's totally fine. I'm going second. So I'm not sure if I want to bring in the counterspell package. Disdainful Stroke's a little bit better because I can counter the Crackling Drakes, and if they have Ral, I can counter that, but can't like do both. So I think for this one, I'm gonna go ahead and keep this as my hand. Seekers Squire usually gets cut unless it's against aggro. Let's see. So I brought in a little bit more removal. Carnage Tyrant is helpful against counter spells. It's just an annoying thing to deal with from Grixis. I like cast downs. I'm not the biggest fan of Midnight Reaper in a deck that's running probably 4 main deck Lava Coils, so I think I'm going to go and cut that. All of the rest of these seem decent. I mean, Finality worked really well for us there. No, I mean it just deals with all the Drakes, so I think it's incorrect to take it out. I think I actually just don't bring in the Crushing Canopy, even though it can like kill any of their things. It just killed any of their things though. Yeah. I don't think I need it. Alright, decent. We have removal. We have some ramp. We have some ramp that's going to cost us, but... Alright, well. Looks like they're going to bolt the bird. Or maybe they just have opt. My assumption is they're bolting the bird. No, cool. Thanks for letting me keep the board. The bird. And then next turn I can double up on these. Rude. Alright, I guess I can't double up on these anymore. Incredibly offensive. Unfortunately, going second does mean that they're going to be able to react easier to what we're doing. They did just drop a land. Wow. Okay. That's interesting, I guess. I guess for another opt? Let's go ahead and play this tapped. Go ahead and play this. Shocked? Shooting fire. I'm fine with that. The thing about it is, the more cards I have to spend reacting to my board, the longer I'm going to have to draw out my valuable spells, right? And if they're not putting any pressure on me, and they're shocking themselves, I'm going to be able to just kind of rack up some damage. Carnage Tyrant is decent to see here. And I'm going to go ahead and play out the Swamp, because I want to be able to Vraska's Contempt end of turn. I would like some card draw. Some powerful effects. Cracking Drake. Sure. I will go ahead and Contempt you. I will find you in Contempt. I am actually going to do this now, because they're slightly less likely to have a Dive Down or a Spell Pierce. Darn, it looks like they have a Dive Down. Tisk. Alright, well, that was decent. I want to library this because Finality is decent, but I think I have to graveyard it because we don't actually have the mana to do anything about it. I think at this point I'm kind of banking on my Carnage Tyrant. No attacks. I mean, if my opponent gets kind of froggy and starts attacking me first, then they're likely to be in a not great spot if they don't have another blocker. Although, the unfortunate thing is, Drakes has a lot of burst potential. A lot of burst potential. I do admit this is a little bit more of a more dry commentary, because it's really focused on the individual games and a lot more hyper-focus on lines and things. But I think it's important. Also, fudge off. Darn. Yeah, that's really unfortunate that we weren't able to draw an untapped land there. Although, for what it's worth, I guess we wouldn't have been able to do too much. I probably would have played Carnage Tyrant first, though. But now we're like a whole turn behind. Unfortunate. Hopefully, going first is going to be better. That's unfortunate. Yep, I assumed that was going to happen. Yep, very unfortunate. Okay, now that we're going first, are there things that I would want to change? I mean, you could definitely argue for Duress. Maybe the like cast downs and stuff aren't as good because of the sheer number of dive downs. So instead of just dropping the cast downs, I think it's better if I drop one Contempt. I think I'm going to drop a Finality as well, just because the efficiency doesn't it's not as strong if they have dive downs, counter spells, and if a lot of the removal is lava coil based. And then I'll bring in 2 duresses. It's correct to bring in more, and how would I fit more in? I mean, definitely an argument to be made for dropping Eldritch Reborn. I haven't seen any Niv Mizzets, but Eldritch Reborn and Chupacabra, I guess, and Vivien Reid, are just the cleanest ways of dealing with Niv. And Eldritch Reborn in general is just a really strong card against a deck that tends not to have very many creatures on board. And I also didn't see any Phoenixes from them. I think this is fine, but this could be the end of the road, which is fine, because this has been a 45-minute video. I will definitely be playing first, thank you. Oh, Duress. A removal spell. I do need to draw some cards. Draw some lands, but I don't think that's a ship backable hand. Ooh, they had to mulligan. They have to do it again. Because discard against a mulliganed hand is a lot more valuable than discard against an actual hand. Alright, we take away Spell Pierce. And then they don't have a ton of stuff going on. For what it's worth, neither do we. But hopefully we get stuff going on before they do. Oh. Alright, where do they surveil? I hope you guys... I just realized I've been, like, shaking my leg this entire time. I hope that is not coming up in the audio. I have to get rid of a Terramender. And keep 1 on top to draw. Okay, we did draw another land. So we are going to be able to Contempt. I assume they're going to Enigma Drake. Yes. So we're probably... And that's fantastic because we also have the ability to Eldritch Reborn. So we're probably going to Contempt end of turn into Eldritch Reborn. It's possible that we should have Contempted on our turn. But if they leave mana up... Okay, they didn't. Cool. I was going to say if they leave mana up for protection, right, then they're countering this instead of my Eldritch Reborn. I could... Oh, you know what? That was incorrect. I should have Contempted this one. Because with Eldritch Reborn now I can only get a suboptimal card in Enigma Drake, whereas this would have at least drawn me a card. So, a bit of a misplay there, but hopefully it doesn't cost us too much. And for what it's worth, Grixis colored decks don't have a great time dealing with enchantments. And our opponent is still 2 turns away from a Niv, so that is helpful. But even if they do have a Niv, we have Vivien, which is likely what we're going to be doing next turn. Hopefully, they don't have counterspell for it, but if they do, then we can just get it back with Eldritch Reborn. So that's another reason I did this first. Because then it allows me, based on the timing, to get my Vivien Reid back a little bit easier. So let's see what they do with this Surveil. Alright, so that was 1 into the grave. And they kept the other one. Alright, cool, cool. Go and play this force, and them discarding is nice. Opting first. Alright, so they're putting their shield slightly down. We did get rid of a Spell Pierce from them, but I assume that they have more. But, as I said, if they Spell Pierce my Vivien, I get it back with my Eldritch Reborn. Cool, cool. We can go ahead and plus, she's a lot more protected against other things. And I believe the correct answer here is Krasis, because I can do that for 4, have a decent body, and draw 2 cards that gain 2 life. Seems good. Unfortunately, I do only get, like, an Enigma Drake. I could theoretically get Terramander, but Terramander's not that likely to get too much value, so. And we will go ahead and get an Enigma Drake. It's going to be significantly smaller. I'm going to go ahead and -3 just to get rid of this. Because, I mean, they're kind of stuck on mana again. So, do I want to Hydroid Krasis first? Yeah, I think it's reasonable. Or, I guess I should have done it post-combat, but when your opponent's tapped out, it doesn't matter too much. Those are both great draws. Oh, right, I'm dumb. I just got this. I couldn't attack with it. But yeah, I mean, these are both fantastic draws, right? They draw another Drake. Well, that's rude. Can't believe you did that. That said, okay, I'll draw first. Correct answer is draw first.
Stop nature.
Carnage Tyrant. Then we're gonna go ahead and Alter board. Unfortunately, not a great value. Yes. All right, this officially is going to be a long ass video. Yargle. Right, so we've gotten a pack, which costs 1,000 gold, plus 1,500 gold. So we've essentially made it's 2,500. So we've essentially made 500 gold. But the next win is where it gets real. Exile's math. Exile S math? I don't get it. Ooh, this hand is rough. We do have something to do, but we have one thing to do. Once again, this is one of those spots where I gotta... Oh, we are going second. Gotta ask the audience. Let me know in the comments if you would keep this hand. I don't think I can. It's significantly better. Significantly better. I'm absolutely glad that I didn't keep that. We haven't come up against, okay, gates. This is a real deck. We're gonna go ahead and pay life. Get this down. I just like the flexibility, as I said, to be able to cast stuff. But, alright, so we can go ahead and... honestly, I think I like... I think I prefer just playing the Branchwalker and pinging in for one. All of your... against the gate deck... Finality is not good. Find is decent in that they usually just have gates ablaze to deal with our cards. But I think since we already have one, I'm going to go ahead and graveyard it to hopefully draw some more cards. But yeah, against the gate deck, I want to get in every point of damage that I can. And Crushing Canopy is fantastic in this match because there is Archway Angels as well as the myriad different enchantments that they might be running. I could Krasis for 2 here. Nope, I would rather just attack them for 4. Put this Watery Grave down. So let's see if my opponent decides to burn away my board. Because I don't mind too much if they do, because I can get it back and play my Branchwalker. They might be playing Guild Summit. Nope, Gatebreaker Ram, alright. They don't ever move for it, so... So I think I am going to Hydroid Krasis for 3 here. Yeah, especially since I have another one. But this is helpful for making sure I draw more lands. The fact that it has Vigilance is a little unhelpful. This might be the end of the line. In practice mode, I did come up against a gate deck, and I crushed the crap out of them. But we did have a little bit slower of a hand. Oh, they're playing the Clarion version. Alright. Ow. That's not great. Gonna go ahead and Branchwalker. Gotta graveyard that. Find. I like the idea of getting Hydroid Krasis back, but I think I want to just make sure I have good mana. And I realize I should have gotten the Jadelight, because I would have been able to cast it with this. So, yep. Unfortunately, we were just too slow. We weren't able to apply the pressure to the gate deck, and that's really what you need to do. Is you need to have a nice, consistent pressure. Wildgrowth Walker is like the best card for that. Ugh. This doesn't have trample, so I mean we're damned if we do, damned if we don't. Yeah, unfortunately we could Krasis for 3 again, but don't think it is enough. So we're gonna go into game 2. So game 2 we're going first. Very easy. Bring in the Duresses, bring in the Contempt. Bring in the Elderborn, because usually you don't have too many things. Bring in the Crushing Canopy. Muldrotha is decent-ish, but I think she's just a little slow. Detention Stroke is not great because of the fact that they have so many 3-drop things. Negate does deal with, you know, Circuitous Roots, deals with the removal spells, deals with the enchantments, so I think that's fine. The problem lies in what we take out. I honestly think Carnage Tyrant and Hydroid Krasis are a little slow. I think I want to focus on just murdering the crap out of my opponent. Krasis is less bad because I have some sort of value there. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just take out the Carnage Tyrants. These decks typically don't run enchantments. Chupacabra is nice because it does give me a way to, you know, get the board out, and have a threat. It might be too high in removal. Let's drop Seekers Squire. Cast down. I think, honestly, I'm going to take these out. Vivien answers their enchantments, which is very important. Elderborn. I think Elderborn is correct. I think I'm going to drop 1 Krasis. And let's not bring in the other Vraska's Contempt because of the amount of removal we have. Okay. This could be the end of the line. It's the final countdown to Llanowar. Once again, decent hand. And I got something on 1, something to pressure them. Late-ish game card, yeah. And they had to mulligan. As I said, mulligans against duress are not great. Do it again. Do it again. Mulligan. Oh, darn. Pay 2 life. Duress, please. Show me what you've got. 1 lander. Easy removal of Growth Spiral. Right, these are potentially not coming for a while. Easy removal of Growth Spiral. I assume since they kept on top that they have a gate on top. Or I shouldn't say gate, something on top. We're going to go in Branchwalker. I would like to not draw any more lands, please. I hate you. I have all the lands I need. Please stop. Only 3 of my non-cards? Yep. Alright, that is helpful. Absolutely keeping that on top. Every time. Another thing that I forgot in this matchup is Vivien destroys this. They get it back relatively easily, but it's something she does. Gonna go ahead and attack. Play out a Breeding Pool. So my opponent needs to have an untapped land in order to Circuitous Roots now. And they do, and they play it. Okay. So we're gonna go in Vivien Reid plus. We're keeping the pressure on my opponent. But we're gonna go in Vivien Reid plus in order to work up to that ultimate. Because I do think her ultimate is very helpful.
The wilds are my shield.
I have so much lands, I think it's correct to just take Krasis here. And we will go and attack. Keep the pressure up. I didn't see the Gruul enchantment out of them, so I don't know if they're running it. So I think they're going to Circuitous Roots into Gate Colossus, but that is not the best play because of the fact that we have access to Elderborn here. Yep, it is Colossus time. But unfortunately for you, Colossus time. Well, okay, I'll draw first.
Come to me.
I think the correct answer is just another Hydroid Krasis. You know, we have so much lands that I think Hydroid Krasis is correct. Gonna go ahead and Elderborn this. They only have 2 cards left. I mean, Explosion onto Vivien is decent. Do I pay 2 life to get down to Llanowar Elves? I think I do. With the thinking that I'll be able to Hydroid Krasis for even more. But, I mean, on my next turn, they're going to have to discard. I have, you know, extra Vivien Reid draw. Archangel, okay. That is decent. You do have to discard that. Let's see, how much can I Hydroid Krasis for if I play this? For 5? No, 6. Okay. So I will go ahead and do this. Fantastic. Alright, game 3, I'm going second. Game 3, I'm going second. I think this is still the correct thing to have. Even though I'm going second, Duress can be very helpful. Because you don't necessarily need to play Duress before your opponent plays anything. So I think this hand's still fine. I will say, you know, we do need to have a similar game to the last one in order to move on. And since this is single elimination, I've kicked 2 people out of this format, essentially. Oof, 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 oof. I mean, we have access to Negate, we have access to Branchwalker, and Jadelight Ranger. Don't have any black. And we're going second. Once again, let me know in the comments if you would keep this one. Feel free to make it the same comment. I think this hand is slightly better than the hand that we mulliganed on. I'm gonna keep it. It's definitely a greedy keep. As it gets worse. But I can definitely Branchwalker into holding up Negate. So even if I don't draw an additional land. And the reason I say Branchwalker into holding up Negate is because they'll probably have... Oh, that's fantastic. So what I'm deciding here is, do I play the Watery Grave so I can duress them now? Or do I wait, hope that my opponent just has a gate and not a basic land in order to play something like the Guild Summit? Or do I duress... I play Branchwalker, duress next turn, and hold up Negate? I think I like that option just a little bit better because it does give me some sort of pressure on my opponent. I do think after Graveyard, even though she's fantastic, I do want to make sure I'm hitting my land drop. So hopefully opponent doesn't Guild Summit here. Fantastic. Fantastic. And we're drawing lands, which is nice. Pay 2 life. Duress you, please. Alright, Gates Ablaze, Circuitous Roots. I think I take the Circuitous Roots. Because I don't really mind if... Oh, well, Actually, I think the correct answer is take the Gates Ablaze, counter the Circuitous Roots. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's correct. I think it forces them to stumble a little bit more, while not letting them deal with my pressure. Because they definitely could have cast Gates Ablaze this turn. And that's a fantastic draw because it allows me to do something with my mana instead of just holding up Gates Ablaze. So I'm totally fine. Like, essentially showing them that I have this negate in hand. But you know what? I'm going to tap it like this. Make them think I need the black. Because maybe they think I'm just holding up a cast down. That's all. Just holding up a cast down. Yeah, just a little cast down. No. So now they're going to be a couple turns away. Oh! Me gusta. Get that out of there. Go on, Jadelight Ranger here. Make my Wildgrowth Walker a bit of a... Oh! Yes. Yes. Bit of a threat. Put them down to 8. And have them on lethal. Right, they have to have an untapped land. Gates Ablaze! Darn! Alright, that sucked. That top deck from them was pretty good. Graveyard. Play this tapped. Or do I pay 2 life for it? No, because I have Chupacabra, so I'm fine if they play out an Archway Angel. But they can't. They have to wait till next turn. Unfortunately. Yikes. Unfortunately, they are still going to gain the life from it. But luckily, they're at, you know, a relatively low card count. So hopefully it doesn't matter too much. But, yeah, they're going to gain 12 life. Kinda sucks. We're going to Chupacabra here because it does increase the clock. And we're going to Llanowar Elf here. Because we don't need to cast down instant speed. So they bought themselves a ton of time. Man, that top deck Gates of Blaze was unfortunate. Oh, and the Guild Summit. So we need Vivien Reid, please. Not a Vivien Reid. Yet I think this is the end of the line. I mean, I'm playing into another Gates of Blaze, but you know, they already top deck one after I made them discard the other one. Ah, dang. That's fine. We did respectably, I think. Deafening Clarion. Damn. I can still do okay if I draw a Krasis or... Damn. I was going to say or Vivien to get rid of their Guild Summit, but they have a second one, so... Yeah, kinda in a rough spot. And get Colossus. Well, I'm gonna kill that. F off. Vivien, okay. I think honestly, I at this point can't deal with their card advantage. I have to get advantage of my own.
I've lost. You can't stop nature.
I'm gonna take the Wildgrowth Walker, even though I can't play it this turn. But my opponent's gonna be able to Angel, gain a ton of life, gain even more life. And they have a fantastic draw engine. They even have expansion explosion. Oof. Big yikes. Some people might say that it was correct to -3 on one of the guild summits. I just am inclined to disagree. For the main reason that them drawing 2 versus 4, it's not that big of a difference. In terms of like how screwed I am. Because I don't know if you can notice, I'm pretty screwed. And honestly, it was 100% the top deck Gates of Blaze, man. I mean, like now I can double destroy, but I just die in 2 hits. Because that's freaking 20 damage right there. So I guess I'm gonna plus, see what I can get.
The wilds are my shield.
I mean, Krasis is decent. It would just be for 4, though. Damn. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Vivien's possibly dead. Yeah. I was really torn between playing these 2 things or playing Krasis, but like playing a 1/3 just doesn't do anything, you know. Oh, sure. Yeah, I pretty much lost as soon as that the Gates of Blaze hit. Damn. I guess I could have been I could have held back the Llanowar Elf, but I don't think it would have done like anything. And of course I'm just drowning in it now. I think they're going in for the kill. I think they're doing this for the thrill. I hope you understand. I think that was the next part. What was that? It was like La Rue's... Crap, I don't actually remember what the song was. Been there, done that, mess around, I'm having fun, don't put me down, I never meant to sweep you off. Wait, shit. I don't freaking know. This time, baby. Oh, Bulletproof, there we go. Clarion. Alright. That's the end of the line. Unfortunately, if this mode comes back, I didn't realize it was leaving in freaking 15 hours, right? So, I mean, for what it's worth, I essentially spent $500 for a pack, right? But goodness me, this would have been a 5,000 gold value for just 2,000 gold. But yeah, if this mode comes back, I'll do another poll, see what you guys want me to play with it. You know, we're gonna go ahead and get some Guilds of Ravnica packs too. Guilds of Ravnica. You know, we're gonna get a Dom pack too. There we go. Just get a bit of a spread. All right, rare wild card. I'll take it. Most powerful card in the set. Another Tristani. Won't complain. Gems, because I believe I have every rare. So this is a... Nope, I was going to say, so this is mythic. Alright. And that's why I didn't buy more Guilds of Ravnica packs. Oh, man. I know this was a long one, but most people said Yarp. I'm curious how many of you actually know where Yarp is from. It is from my favorite movie. Feel free to post in the comments if you know where Yarp is from. Anyway, I would like to thank my lovely patrons, especially Salamander and Zoraga, for their continued support of the channel. If you'd like to join them supporting the channel, you'll find links to that down in the description below, as well as links to the Discord server, where people play games all the time with each other. It's very nice. We share memes and things like that. And a link to my Aetherhub account, where I'm, actually actively putting my deck list on there. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this long... competitive video. If you did go and tap, I forgot to explain what Spike meant. So I named this Spiky Sultai or something like that because Spike is a player demographic who wants to win. So I think since this is competitive metagame, it was Spike. So I thought that was a clever and interesting thing to say in the thumbnail. But I totally meant to like open with what the hell Spike means, because not every player knows what the player demographics are, or I forgot the name that it was, but it's Spike, Timmy, and Johnny. I am a Timmy Spike with heavy Vorthos and Melvin leanings, for those of you who know what those mean. So anyway, if you like this video, which I hope you did, go ahead and tap that like button, add a subscription to your mana pool, and cast a comment in the comment section down below. And until next time, all will be one.